Ready? Ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Yeah, he's ready. Good afternoon, everybody. Softball Grandpa here with Henry and Hawkeye. Hawkeye, come here. Come here. Hawkeye, Hawkeye, come here. You gonna speak? Oh, Henry's ready. He's excited. He's more excited than Hawkeye. Anyway, word of the day. What's the word of the day? Word of the afternoon. Music. Music soothes your soul, or my soul. Think about it. You know, I'm from the 70s. Well, I'm from the 50s, but I thoroughly enjoyed the 70s, and there was a lot of music. You know, rock and roll. There's a lot of songs. You know, like the Rolling Stones. They're pretty old. You know, and Frank Sinatra. He's dead, but he wrote some pretty good songs too. You know what my favorite Frank Sinatra song was? Is My Way. I did it my way. You know, regrets, I got a few, but too few to mention. And then with this Rolling Stones and stuff, you know, they wrote a lot of good songs too. Like, you know, I heard one on the way home today, a Mother's Little Helper. And the Mother's Day is coming up, you know, I said, oh, that's a trip, you know. But it was about a little yellow pill that Mom used to take when the kids were yelling and stuff. Mom would go, they called it Mother's Little Helper. You know, but that's back in the 60s. I think that was in 1963. I might have been 8 years old. You know, and just so everybody knows too, when the Beatles came out, and they were on Ed Sullivan, I watched it live, and I didn't like the Beatles. You know why? Because all the screaming girls, you know, you couldn't even hear what they were singing. It was like they were nuts, you know. And I wonder where I get that, you know. You know, there you go. Yeah, I wonder if there's a song, I have to look that one up, if there's a song saying, you know. What do you think, Henry? Oh, here's Hawkeye. Hawkeye's getting his butt itched. But, you know, I'm very, very busy at work now. I absorbed another inspector's all his jobs, and so that, and I try to take it in stride, and I'm supervising a lot more people now, and one of my inspectors, he's pretty sharp, a little shy, but it's all good, you know. The crew that is working underneath me is like the United Nations, you know, and they're all smart guys and they work hard, and you know, most of them I think work hard. Either they work hard or they hide really well, you know. So, but I don't think that's I don't think there's just too much work to be hiding, you know. So. I'm truly blessed because the time does go by fast, and it kind of gave me maybe a little boost of energy, and so here's Henry over here. There's another song by the Eagles. It was from the Hell Freezes Over album. Get Over It, you know, and I like that song too, and. I like music a lot. Maybe that's why I go to a lot of concerts. Not as much as I would like to. Metallica is playing at the Sphere in Las Vegas. I think that might be a good show to see. You know, that would have been a really good show to see back in the 70s when the same time of year when Cal Jam won. I could barely remember that. I remember it. But I left early because I had to go find my truck, because if it got dark, there was no way I was going to find my truck. You know, 5 of us went and only 2 of us drove back together. But anyway, that's a sore subject for one of my brothers. But anyway, I do apologize for that. Maybe that's why I took him to the Eagles. Hopefully that made up for that one concert. But. That's life. That's life, you know. And you know that I did it my way. I'm doing it my way, And for the most part, I do it my way. And but now as I'm getting older, and clean and sober, I am asking God for help and trying to do it His way. And it's not always. Um, I don't do it 100% automatic because there's still a lot of stuff in me that's just automatic, and I can't turn that automatic switch off. Maybe if I had a concussion or somebody hit me over the head and I had to learn everything all over again. But it's like muscle memory, and there's a big muscle in here, well, maybe this might be a smaller muscle now, but there's a muscle, it's just muscle memory, and stuff, and how I react to stuff, you know, you know, and, one of my old sponsors, God bless his soul, Peter, used to say, ask God for help and mean it. The first time I heard him say that, I thought to myself, well, that's kind of a novel idea because I remember when I was out there drinking and using, once I got pulled over by Arcadia PD, and they searched my truck and found all these empty beer cans and put them on top, and I was smoking cigarettes at the time, and all these empty Marlboro cigarette packs on the floorboard, and what was left of a 8-ball of cocaine in one of the cigarette packs. They didn't find it, and they asked me, they knew where I was. I said I lived in Moreno Valley, and they said, get the hell out of here, and they let me go, and I drove down Santa Anita Avenue down to Del Monte. And if I told you this, I apologize. But then I stopped at the Alpha Beta, bought a couple of beers, did all the cocaine that was left, and drove home and drank the 2 beers on the way home, going to Moreno Valley. And then when I got home, I called AA. And that was one of the times I got clean and sober. Another time I got clean and sober, I was a little bit in distraught. I was drinking and worked for a couple of the carpenters that I was working with. They were Christians, and they wanted me to come to their church. And they knew I had a drinking problem, and they told me, the guy's first name was Don. I can't remember his last name. Really nice guy, and he had a wife and kids, and they were heavy into Christian, and he talked to me, and on the way home, I was living at my mom's house at the time. I stopped by St. Luke's, which was the church that I went to 8 years of parochial school. I was baptized. I was married. All my kids were baptized there, and it was probably about 7:30 at night or something like that. And every door on that church was locked except for one, the one that was on the schoolyard. And I went inside the church, and I sat in front of the statue of Jesus on the right side of the church, where my dad always sat on the right side of the church when we went to church. And I asked God for help, and I meant it. And I did that was one of the days I got clean and sober. And I think it was actually on January 17th or something like that. And later on, I found out that was the same day, the anniversary of my father's death. And then the last time the first time I got clean and sober was I couldn't be creative in my lives no more. So I came home one day and I just told the wife, I said, I got a problem. I can't stop. And so she checked me into rehab, and she had no idea I was doing cocaine. And she was almost shocked that, alcohol and cocaine. And she thought I was having an affair, and I was having an affair with the white powder. And it cost me a lot of money, and it cost me my family too. The kids were a victim of a divorce, and my sponsor, my first sponsor, said the way you make amends to the kids, you stop the behavior. So that's where I'm at. So I am truly blessed, and this is the longest video I've ever done. I hope somebody got something out of it. If you need help, reach out and ask for help. And if you can't do that, ask God for help and mean it. And pray for everybody and say hello to somebody. Anyway, do something for somebody else for fun or for free because you want to, with no expectation in return, and you will be amazed. And happy Mother's Day weekend coming up. And if you're a father, take care of the mother. All right, bye.